Hello folks, Arch back with another playthrough of Civilization 5 after a much needed hiatus. From both making playthroughs and from playing Civilization 5. And for good reason too. In the first accord, because taking fraps footage at 2560 by 1600 consumes a lot of disk space. I'm talking like roughly somewhere around a gig a minute if you record at full quality. The second reason why didn't I play Civ 5? I thought that vanilla sucked. No punches pulled. I thought it was really, I don't know, boring. I beat on Deity a couple times and I don't know. I just thought that the war and the AI was kind of flat and very cool in theory, but it just didn't have the staying power that Beyond the Sword did for me. But this was all saved. It was all redeemed with the advent of God and Kings, the expansion pack. And what I'm here to show you today with this playthrough is a new mod that expands on that even more. So let's run through and kind of look at what we got here. First of all, we've got Barbarian's Unlimited EXP. Does exactly what it sounds like. No more will your promotions be staved because you don't have a real AI unit to throw your units against. You can go and make war with the Barbarians, and you'll see how using the enhanced mod, Barbarians have changed a lot. A little more interesting. Also have colored religious icons. Really nothing exciting there. It's just an aesthetic tweak that gives your icons colors so you can more easily differentiate them. We've got the CivUP, or the Unofficial Patch. This is a required gameplay tweak balancer. Didn't really do anything that I noticed too big beyond just running the enhanced mod. And then of course Gem, or the enhanced mod, and this is where all the new stuff comes in. So a lot of different gameplay changes, new units, new buildings, tech rebalancing. The game's totally different. I mean, this is like playing a completely separate expansion with Gem. For example, Vanguard units. Really great idea. Kind of a way to add a support class, if you will. Change things up a little bit so it's not just rock, paper, scissors, Spock. So that's it. Now let's take a look at our game setup. Now, I'm going to try this on Deity because A, I want a short game where hopefully I'll get trounced, but have fun in doing it. I highly doubt I win because I've only ever played Deity once, and I'm really not super familiar with this mod. I was playing the unmodded version of God and Kings, probably have about maybe 200 hours into that. Beat one Deity game, lost several, playing as different civs. But anyway, let's run the advanced setup here. I'm not going to screw with any of the advanced options beyond turning off espionage, just because, man, espionage has always been annoying. I really dislike it. City-states, I'm going to turn this to 16. I think that's standard for a standard size. Now this map type, this Perfect World 3, this is actually another modder's invention. What it does is it adds kind of what I would equate to the Beyond the Sword fractal type map. I know there's fractal in the standard suite of God and Kings, but the other thing that it kind of does is it tweaks a lot of the climate. It adds a lot of mountains, it seems like. I mean, I guess you can, it doesn't let you change the age of the world, so you'll get a lot of mountains, a lot of impassable terrain. And that's really cool for, you know, strategic, logistical reasons, just for being able to block off passes and things like that. Makes it much more interesting. Let me see. So, start placement, I will start us on the largest continent. Hopefully we'll get some desert floodplains type territory so we can really leverage getting the camel archers around, which is a really OP unit. But you'll notice that there are a lot of gameplay tweaks. I'll try to point them out as I can. But namely, I'm just doing this playthrough to kind of showcase a really great mod by an author who I really appreciate going through and spending all the time of setting this up. And hopefully some of you will go out and try it. So without further ado, let's get it started. We got eight players here, 7 AI and myself on Deity. Standard map, standard speed, standard resources. Here we go.
Blessings of God be upon you, O great Caliph Harun al-Rashid, leader of the pious Arabian people. The Muslim Empire of the Caliphate was born in the turbulent years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad in 632 AD, as his followers sought to extend the rule of God to all of the people of the earth. The Caliphate grew mighty indeed at the height of its
That's kind of cool.
Ruling Spain,
North I really miss Leonard Nimoy's voiceovers as opposed to Liam Neeson's. Not that Liam Neeson's not cool, but I don't know, just Nimoy was unbeatable. So let's talk about kind of just kind of a run through of what's kind of different. First of all, you'll notice that, for example, in the tech tree, a lot of the hierarchy of these techs have changed quite a bit. So, for example, I think the second tier has changed a lot. A lot of things have been pushed back into further eras. Some things have been moved up. Road, for example, is on trade. Archery. You'll notice that this training, I believe, is new. So the Sentinel unit, for example, is a new type of unit called a Vanguard. And you can see in their abilities that they get kind of a phalanx type bonus, where if they're adjacent to a friendly unit, they get a bonus to their strength. They also get 25 flat out defense. Other things are good for, I believe they can very quickly get medic type promotions, so they are awesome support. Between the Vanguard and something like a Great General, you can really leverage some really well promoted, highly promoted units and wreak some havoc. So I'm hoping that with the Camel Archers, I don't really need all that stuff since they're pretty overpowered. So yeah, let's kind of take a look at our land here. Now, on Deity, having defensible terrain is paramount to none. But before I settle, I need to kind of scout what else is available as far as my opening city. So there's 2 gold available, and probably a lot of other turf here. Settling in place is not really the best option, but neither is moving to this desert tile or that desert tile, because it's going to take up 2 turns to get there. Settling on turn 2, it's okay. I guess it would be turn 1 since we're technically on turn 0. But taking 3 turns to move across and then settle is, no, that's too much. So I'm going to bite the bullet here. I'm going to go with this hill tile and hope that there's something else cool on the other side. But mainly I just want to be able to defend this turf. I'm gonna really play kind of conservatively here and turtle a bit and build my military and focus on that. Now I will be able to get this gold pretty darn quick, and I'm gonna need it because of the happiness type of issues I'll run into. Okay, so it looks like we didn't get the spices. That's a bummer, but anyway. Okay, so a couple other new buildings. Mentor's Hall. This is kind of a pre-library type science building. Palace can also build that adds happiness. Note that, let me get the city screen up here. there is still this capital wonder, I guess you might call. So that still adds the national happiness and the capital city and so forth. Palace is just kind of an additional building that you get to build. I'm not going to bother with those because I'm going to get that free. Now I tend for my first build here to go with Mentor's Hall, and then I'll either buy a warrior or I'll buy a monument. Just because whatever you buy first with your gold is going to be delivered unto you much quicker than actually building it. So I'm actually going to prioritize that. Now, where is the old camel archer? Where are you, friend? There he is. So all the way out on chivalry. I'm not going to get that anytime soon. It's a medieval unit, so I've got to really kind of play safe here with a combination of things like chariot archers, archers and compound archers, or sorry, composite bowmen. I'm so used to Civ 4 terminology. These guys are kind of your bread and butter. Now, vanguards are also really pretty awesome for defense against barbarians, which you'll see are very different in this mod. But looking through here, I can also grab my bazaar pretty quick. Now, eventually I'll have to grab mining somewhat early on because I'm going to need to get my gold for happiness purposes. But looking at this land, straight out of the gate, what I should probably tech is animal husbandry. Oops. Now, what am I in for here as far as my opponents? That is something that I won't know for a few turns, but that's greatly going to determine my fate as to whether I am going to live or not. Okay, Mombasa is maritime. They give food if you curry their favor. I'm going to try and keep on this desert so I can explore out some of this flat land and see what's going on. Now, as far as religion goes, Grand Mesa. That's a pretty cool natural wonder to have in a game like this, just because you can use it to, Siam, okay. You can use this to procure a military pretty fast if you build like your second city on it. So we've got Siam near us. Now I meant to turn off the little tribal villages, but oh well. And so we've got Siam near us. That's not as bad as it could be. Could be a lot worse. Although I do find him very annoying. And there's our first Barb camp. So about these barbarian units in this mod, they're different units. You'll see there's going to be a lot more of them. They spawn a lot quicker. They tend to be weaker though than their counterparts. So for example, here's my warrior, and this Barb brute does not have quite the strength. But he is fortified, so he's going to be pretty strong still. I am going to ignore him for the moment. Okay, so I've got coast on one side. That's good. That's a good thing. It means most likely that I only have assholes on 3 sides of me. I think that's a George Carlin joke about why he likes to go down to the beach. Sometimes you can goad them into attacking you across a river and in the forest. That might be possible, and if that's true, you get 100 gold in this mod for grabbing a village, so at this point it would be really awesome to take that. Now I'm ready for my first purchase, which could either be a palace or a monument, or possibly a warrior or whatever. I'm going to go with the monument at this point. May prove to be my undoing for not winning and buying another different unit here, but we'll see. Another thing I can do is I could grab this tile and use it to heal up that unit a little bit quicker. We'll see what happens. I don't think he's going to actually attack that guy. Theodora. She's not too bad either. Siam tends to be a real monster, but Theodora's not too bad. So you can see there's the first spawn of that camp, and it's proven not to be super annoying quite yet. So did I get horses? No, I did not. Bummer. But it looks like we've got a really great second city site right up here, probably right on that tile. Can grab a lot of wine, which opens me up to possibly getting both either desert folklore or the one that gives you the wine and incense bonus. I forget what it's called. So I would really like to hop off this. Let's see if I can get that little guy to move. Okay, that paid off because I'm going to be able to get those ruins. I'm going to have to come back and deal with this sooner than later, which I will. Later. Okay, so got some gold. Useful. So far, land's looking really pretty good. Kind of doubting that I'll be able to very easily be able to grab a Pantheon, but I know Theodora is definitely going to go for a Pantheon early in a religion. We'll see what kind of bonus I can grab, but yeah, so what's next? Probably a warrior. If I grabbed archery, I could go for it right there, but I didn't, so. Oh well.
Im Namen des Groß...
Germany... Bismarck doesn't ever seem to do well in games that I'm in. For whatever reason, I'm not sure why. Okay, time to go back and deal with those Barbs. Because most likely they're running around terrorizing some other civilizations at this point. Hopefully they're doing that. So I'll take a slightly scenic route to get there. Okay, so that is... wow. Theodora is right on my doorstep. Okay, well, I can pretty much anticipate getting declared on by her fast. So, big changes in the policies as well. I'm not going to spend a ton of time running through there. They still, of course, have the general theme to them, so tradition's still good for capital, wonders, so on and so forth. Liberty gives you free settler, free worker. You'll notice that most of them don't require that you grab one before the other. There's not that requirement. Some of them still do have that. Honor is really pretty cool for dealing with the Barbs. In a deity game, the expansion happens so quickly and there's such a high unit presence that Barbs are not as much of a ordeal. So I am probably going to go with Liberty because, well, you'll see why soon enough. It does give me a free palace though, so I don't have to worry about building that. Okay, so Siam, oh, he grabbed that site. No surprise. And I will have to grab a settler from that policy very quick here, or I will not get a second or third city. So at this point it's looking like probably, well, it's tough to say because there really isn't a great spot up here with a hill or anything like that, but that's certainly good land. buy my shrine. Deal with this brute. So now what? Now what are we going with? Well, I could grab my bazaar, just because it's kind of really pretty good. I don't think I have any oases to work here. But it's probably more important that I grab archery at this point. Or actually, oh yeah, archery first and then mining. Just because archers are so important. I'm going to get possibly a declaration from Theodora quite soon. And if I don't have archers to meet her with, I am a screwed pooch. Now, this guy should start attacking my warrior now that he's got less health and looks vulnerable. Okay, so I'm going to grab, for defense purposes, I'm going to grab rough terrain and pretty much just sit here and camp. Okay, great. So Siam wants to be my buddy. Always like to see that in a deity game. It's possible that I can use him to get Theodora off my back. But not a whole lot going on outside of that. So the question is, do I want to go ahead and kill this guy, or do I want to save the XP for my unit? And I'm going to go ahead and kill him. Now here's the question. Will I be able to decisively victor over the Barbs? Yes, I was. Awesome. Good news for me. So, let's see. Yep, that settles that. Got my free 100 gold, which is going to be nice. And I'm gonna have him heal up the place. He's pretty well protected because he's got river all around him, and he could retreat if he needed to. My second warrior will be out soon. At this point, okay, so there are a lot of more interesting events that you get as a result of having this mod. They tend to have the three, I'm pretty sure they all have the three options where you can either pay into it, you can get the bonus, you can get some kind of new interesting things. I'm going to go for the free worker. And since I cannot get gold quite yet, or the furs, it only really makes sense to grab this farmland, as they indicated. Or I can construct a village. I'll stick with the farm for now. Germany and Theodora are in cahoots. Not terrible news, but yeah, I gotta be on guard of that. Cannot build an archer yet, so I can get started on my granary. He wants to give me gold so that I have an embassy in his land. Sure, since we're friends, let's do that. Sometimes they'll just straight up offer you embassy for embassy, but I do not have the required tech for that yet. We'll get there. Now let's switch it up, and did we get archery yet? Not yet. So what's kind of the big picture with this in the first 50 or so moves? Well, not getting killed for one thing. Certainly would help. Namely, kind of turtling and currying good grace with the other civs. Oh, we got Washington, okay. Interesting. Go with an archer now. Unless I can buy one. Nope. And I'm going to have him switch it up and grab the furs. Okay, so on to mining.
Is the following trick?
Yikes. Already got her cataphracts out. Yeesh. Those things are menaces. Oh, and there's her capital, okay. Now, my terrain is pretty good and defensible. Desert, for defense purposes, is not great, but it is also a hill, so it's kind of a neutral there. I need to make sure I can grab this area as a second city site. Or possibly... Actually, I'll probably grab... tough to say, because there's no hills here. If there was a hill right here, it would be an excellent spot. But, could possibly settle on the sheep. This would be great defensible terrain against Constantinople, which I'm almost positive will be attacking me soon. So other than that, I don't know, I think I'll maybe just settle on the sheep here. And she's already got a great general. Awesome. Can't wait to see the back end of that one. Okay, and there's his capital, so... Interesting. Oh boy. Well, for the first city site, I think I'm going to go ahead and grab that spot. Just because it's going to prove to be very useful.
Ήκουσα σε πρέποντα Θεσσαλοτρίας ομιλία.
I don't know, we'll see what happens. There's always the chance that she will not declare on me, but I am not counting on that being the case. And it looks like her turf does not go too far beyond that either. Looks like there's coast down here, so... I pretty much have to take these two spots or else I will not get a second or third city without conquering them. Which of course is the plan. Now, nice thing about the second city is that I've grabbed... I do get a free palace there, but I don't really get anything else. I don't have the free monument. So, unfortunately that's going to give me that policy hit. But it's just a risk you gotta take.
Es wäre in eurem Interesse.
People are being nice to me. So thus far Byzantium is not screwing me over. Alright, so this is going to be my second city site. Very well defensible. Now she's about to be really pissed and say, "Why did you settle near me, you bastard?" So I need to get archers out there right away. Since I'll be taking the gold as my next policy, and that's not for 14 turns, I need to figure out what to do with this next. What should I do here? So it's